Africa, a vast, diverse and beautiful land, deeply connected through ancient rivers, valleys, mountain ranges and deserts, and of course by its people. Our history, ancient empires, cultures, religion, traditions, practices, beliefs, trade routes, new and old. We also have, for many centuries, been irreversibly and increasingly connected through those cities, ancient and new, that we are building, sometimes these days at staggering speed, and to which we keep moving to relentlessly, as we have been doing for centuries, in the quest to be more connected with each other, to improve our lives, widen our livelihood options, to better our schooling, and to be safer, better cared for, and in short, to seek a better tomorrow. Before we reflect on this realization of this better tomorrow, let's briefly look back at Africa's history. Africa has a rich and proud past. It often is tragic too, but it is in this past that we believe we can now learn and rise from. With greater wisdom, invaluable lessons learned, more resolve, and as a stronger people. It is within this history that we find some of the greatest ancient kingdoms and cities the world has ever seen. Probably the most well-known are the Egyptian cities of Memphis, Thebes, and Alexandria, with their immovable temples and tombs, as well as Ife in today's Osun state in Nigeria. Considered amongst the most unique in Africa, Ife artists are said to have begun creating bronze, stone, and terracotta sculptures around the 12th century, with much of their work reflecting the contrast of youth and old age, health and disease, suffering and serenity. The great kingdom of Kush already reached its peak in the 2nd millennium BC, when it ruled along the Nile, just south of Egypt, while the land of Punt, or land of the gods, dated back to 2500 BC, most likely located somewhere around modern-day Ethiopia and Eritrea. Carthage, the great North Africa hub of the 9th century BC, located within modern-day Tunis, was the location from where the Roman Empire was once defeated from its mighty harbor during the Punic Wars. The kingdom of Aksum, around the 2nd century AD, established itself as vital global trading post and link between ancient Europe and the Far East, and although, like the other kingdoms, it did not last, its religious legacy still exists today in the form of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. The legendary Lion King, King Keita, of the Mali Empire, known the world over for its riches, has ruled over much of West Africa from around the 1200s, and his reign included great cities such as Timbuktu, which is famous for, of course, its library, which includes an estimated 700,000 manuscripts. Further south, in sub-Saharan Africa, we find Great Zimbabwe, once the capital city of an indigenous empire around the 13th century, which ruled over modern-day Botswana, Zimbabwe, and Mozambique. Remnants of Chinese pottery, European textiles, and Arabian glass tells us that this kingdom had a lucrative trade route through the Indian Ocean with the rest of the world. The Benin Empire in southern Nigeria, originally known as Edo, boasted the world's largest earthworks prior to the mechanical era. The walls of Benin City were once 4 times longer than the Great Wall of China and consumed 100 times more material than the Great Pyramid of Cheops. Beyond the outer city walls, further walls separated the surroundings and the capital into 500 distinct villages, each with its own governor, in what was then a groundbreaking and complex governance structure. The list of great historic cities in Africa is long and includes many more. We are indeed building our new future on a rich and proud history, days of glory, great wealth, and where art, education, and strong leadership has led our continent to fantastic heights. From our history, it is clear that Africa has always been deeply connected with the continent, and also within the continent, and also with the outside world. This cross-pollination of our vast diaspora continue to enrich and inspire, and as we are now more connected with greater ease than ever, there is no stopping our tomorrow. However, that tomorrow and what it will be is in our hands. It is up to us, this generation, and especially today's youth, to take hands and together take charge of that future. To make it great, to make it all it can be for both people and the nature around us on which we all depend, we need to reflect together on what has worked in the past and what exists today and what can be possible tomorrow. And it is where these three, the past, the present, and the future meet, where we will find our answers and our inspiration. Dubbed the Century of Cities, and also known by some as the Century of Africa, this century is indeed the defining century for both our continent and for the future of humanity and planet alike. With technology advancing at blinding speed, and with innovation abound in the streets, classrooms, and hearts of the people of Lagos, Casablanca, Dar es Salaam, Kigali, Entebbe, Kilimani, Arusha, Luanda, Port Louis, Abidjan, the list goes on. One thing is for sure, we are already shaping our urban tomorrow, every single day, in every city, large, intermediate, and even in our smaller rural towns and cities. The choices we make today, the dreams we turn into plans, the way we design and build our roads, our buildings, our infrastructure, the way we live our lives are defining our tomorrow. We have to ask ourselves, what does the city of my dreams look like? What are the defining futures of that future city, which will make our lives better? And how can we sustain it then for centuries to come? What will give quality, respect, and dignity to the lives lived in such a city? How are we ensuring the necessary safety nets, that basic needs are met, that our thriving African businesses become global front runners? How do we use technology and address global change and risks in ways that will do no harm and accomplish harmony with nature? I challenge you, let's answer these and many more questions in a way that turn dreams of our future into inspirational yet concrete and realistic actions. Imagine if each African alive in a city of any size today, wherever you find yourself to be on this beautiful continent, takes that first step today and then keep taking more steps day after day, over and over, what our African urban tomorrow can be. Let's make Rise Africa a movement for celebrating our cities and taking bold actions to create beautiful, shared futures. Bring your ideas, your innovations, your dreams, your creativity, and let us create the Africa we want, for all, for today, for tomorrow. And let's remind ourselves that even just one great idea can change the future.